And we're ready in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, mic on, fade up, cue talent.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Mr. Allan.
The creatures who feast upon the flesh of their victims.
And I'm the Supervisor of Television Services here at LTTV. I also teach the TV classes, and I'm the TV Club Advisor.
Medical examinations of some of the victims bore out the fact that they had been partially devoured.
WZOM is basically a zombie movie. It was kind of like a last hurrah. Chris Velasquez is an employee of mine or was an employee of mine, has since moved on, but also somebody that I've known for a number of years and collaborated with.
That never happened. We've always had the zombie thing to bond on. He's been around for some of the other stuff that I did, the short projects like Deadscapes, but we never actually worked together.
When Chris went back to film school, he needed to do an internship, and so he called me up and asked if we could do something with LTTV. I said, yeah, absolutely. Brought him in as an intern. He worked for a few months as an intern, and then after kind of training him, I brought him on as a staff member, where he worked for a few more months through the school year, and towards the end of the school year, that's when we decided, like, hey, let's do a project.
Now comes along this opportunity for us to actually shoot something and to do something here at, the campus.
He knew that he was going to be going out to LA. So WZOM was really a way for us to collaborate on one more movie before he moved away.
Being that we have run of the whole school more or less, and we can use this as a location, I started writing. I walked around the school and I saw the awesome boiler room. I saw the amazing 4th floor. And actually the year that I worked here, I shot a bunch of my projects here from school, in my last year at school.
Welcome to Ghost Ventures. Tonight's episode, we're in an old sanitarium in South New Zealand.
I never realized you had such a hard time here.
Because there are just so many amazing spaces in this school that why not? They're awesome to use, and for a zombie film, there was more than enough kind of room to play with around here. So I wrote it based on the school.
We had some ground rules for WZOM. Okay, first of all, we knew I said it's got to be a short. I don't want it to be a feature because that's too much to bite off. It's got to be something that we shoot over summer with the TV Club kids because we don't have time to do it during the year. It has to also be something that we shoot here or around LT, because I didn't want to spend a lot of time and energy and money securing locations and permits and all that stuff. I wanted it to be something that we shot local. And I wanted it to be believable and realistic. I wanted the story to be written based on what's available here, okay? Keep the cast small, keep the locations limited, and figure out a way to write a story with that. I kind of said, you're gonna direct it and write it. I'll produce and AD it.
I spent half my life in a retail management position. I've worked with a lot of people, a lot of different ages, but mostly people who are high school and college age. At one point I was that age and I was working with them, and I grew up working in that situation. So being kind of the head of a team that may be younger or less experienced is something that I'm pretty used to at this point. So I was very welcoming of that challenge.
But also the biggest focus was it was to be a short film that the students really took leadership on. So it was going to be an opportunity for them to do things in a film style, with a film set and a kind of a real production workflow that we don't normally have the time during the busy school year to do.
I was the DP, also known as the cinematographer or director of photography. Basically, I'm in charge of taking what the director wants and doing awesome things and translating it to the screen. So I'm in charge of the camera, I'm in charge of the lighting, I'm in charge of basically making the image what it is on the screen.
I pretty much come to work every day and I kill people. I am Emily Feller and I'm the director of makeup and effects for WZOM. I never knew what it was like to be on a film set before I joined the crew of WZOM. Everybody had to be in 2 places at once at all times, and it was just very chaotic at times. We had a lot of different scenes where we had zombies with rope burns on their neck from when they hung themselves, or we had gouge out eyeballs. Just everybody has a different story behind their death. Our job as the makeup department was to create different ways to tell that story in the films.
I did LTTV for the past year and a half, and I'm the news department head, so I figured why not? Like, I'm in television and I really like television, so I figured I should probably give film a try, and Mr. Allan kind of made me do it too. So I don't know, I just thought it'd be a good experience. I was the AD when Mr. Allan wasn't there, the second AD when he was there, casting supervisor, and production manager. AD, basically I get directions from Chris and then I yell at other people so that happens. Like, if he tells me to do something, then I have to make sure that other people are doing it. Second AD, I run around and also tell people what to do. And casting supervisor was hell because I had to contact people and make them show up to be zombies and extras and makeup or whatever. You know, I just recruited people to come, and whatever they became. Like, if I wanted somebody to be a zombie, they might end up being on makeup, which was really lame because it sucked a lot. But no, so yeah, I recruited people for zombies.
My role was the script supervisor, and basically what I had to do was figure out things continuity-wise and to help actors with their lines if they need help with it as well. Slate is, well, you know how they have those like take one action things, whatever, in the movie? Well, that's basically what a slate is. It tells you the scene, the take, and like if it's from a different angle, from what angle it's from. Since I was a student, I graduated now, being around LTTV all the time, everybody was talking about it, and I wanted to be part of the movie, so during the summer when school was out, everyone got together and decided on roles and what we were going to do for it and to finalize everything, and we just kind of got rolling from there.
Kamali Sukanovic. I got involved because I'm a part of the TV club and I was here over the summer, and I've heard, people talking about it throughout the school year, and it just seemed like a lot of fun, and I really just wanted to get involved. My role in the movie was mostly makeup. Makeup was where I spent most of my time with. That was a lot of fun. I also did some PA work, helped out just generally around the set, but mostly makeup.
My role in this project was head of art department. So we would go to locations where they would be filming eventually. We'd set it up however they wanted it to look. Like, one day we'd be building barricades, another day we'd be just walking around cleaning stuff, which sucked, but.
I heard near the end of the school year that there was going to be a zombie movie. So during summer school, I asked if I could be involved in that somehow. And it turned out there was a position open. My role is a PA or production assistant, which is basically a person who does a little bit of whatever they're asked to.
Originally, I was going to have Chris write it, and then I was going to direct it, and he was going to be the AD. And then all the students were going to take leadership roles on all the other departments and support positions. Then we kind of changed it up. After he started writing it, I said to myself, well, it doesn't make sense for me to direct it because I can trust you to direct what you've written.
Spending the summer doing this project right before I leave and go across the country to try and start a career, it's kind of momentous, I guess you could say. It's a really important period in my life. And so it adds to how much I appreciate the project, but it also adds to how much I appreciate that everyone was involved and that everyone helped and that we did it.
Zombies, wow.
Zombies.
Zombie.
Zombies.
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 Zombie.
Zombies.
Zombie.
Zombies.
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 Zombie.
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 Zombies.
Zombie.
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 Zombies.
Zombies.
Zombie.
Zombies.
Zombies.
Zombie.
Zombies. Zombies.
Zombies.
Zombies.
Zombies.
Zombies.
Zombies.
Zombies.
Zombies.
Zombies.
Zombie.
For zombies.
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 Zombie.
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 Zombies.
Zombies.
Zombie.
Zombies.
Zombies.
The zombie.
Zombies.
Zombie.
Zombies. Zombies.
Zombies.
Zombies.
Zombies.
Zombie.
Zombies.
Zombie.
Zombies.
Zombie.
Zombies.
Zombies.
Zombie.
Zombies.
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 Zombies are interesting to me because the zombie movies that I like, which are the zombie films by George Romero, are more than just blood and gore. And I think today with shows like The Walking Dead and more serious takes on zombies as opposed to dancing zombies or crazy zombies that run around talking and wanting to eat your brains, movies in the vein of what George Romero did made us think more about people actually than zombies, because his storylines put the zombies as kind of a backdrop, an overall threat. And then you watch your lead characters and you try and see how they would react in that situation. And it really brings a lot of humanity to the forefront.
There's this element where you put yourself in the shoes of a survivor and you go, what would I do if there was a zombie apocalypse? Like, how would I react? What would I do to survive, And there's something about that, almost like that kind of mental role-playing experience where you try to figure out what you would do, that you get into that character and you think about it.
But it's true. That's why I'm into zombies. It's because that world, that storytelling world, is a really fertile one where you can really dig into character and the decisions that we make under pressure. Because you can replace the zombies with anything. Nuclear threat, a disease. It's whatever out there, is out there that is kind of making us make life-changing decisions and trying to survive.
I met Chris Velasquez online before I even knew he was Chris Velasquez. We met on a zombie fan site called Homepage of the Dead. At one point, probably months into that, being involved on that site, I realized that he was like from the Chicago area, so I was like, oh wow. I kind of found out through the filmmakers forum on Homepage of the Dead that he was working on a zombie movie, and that he was planning on working on this zombie movie and maybe premiering it at the 25th anniversary of Dawn of the Dead.
In 2003, when I was attempting my first project, I went to a convention in Pittsburgh. And this convention was a Comic-Con convention, but it was also the 25th anniversary of the original Dawn of the Dead, which was actually shot across the street from the convention center. Pittsburgh is kind of, for those who don't know, that's where George Romero made all his zombie films, most notably Dawn of the Dead in 1978, and he shot it in a real mall. And so what they did was, while the Comic-Con was going on, they also had a Dawn of the Dead silver anniversary kind of convention event where cast and crew, they were all there signing autographs, and then they did tours of the mall, and you got to walk through the mall and be with the cast and crew.
If you look through the bonus DVD on for the deluxe edition of George Romero's Dawn of the Dead, and you can actually see Chris and me in different shots. So Chris and I actually met in person at the Pittsburgh Comic-Con.
I knew a lot of the people were coming from all over the country to go to that, and that I'd probably see some people that I probably had only talked to online, and Bill Allan was one of them.
I saw him, I recognized him from Homepage of the Dead pictures, and I'm like, "You're Sir Evil," and he's like, "You're Mr. Chrome," and I was like, "Yes," and we kind of met and we swapped, our teaser trailers for our movies. Over the years, I continued to have things, he continued to have things, we kept in touch.
After that, I decided, you know what? After almost 3 years of telling everyone that I was making a movie and then not having anything to show for it except some trailers and a few rough cut scenes, I decided, okay, I'm gonna make a few short films like I originally intended on doing. And yeah, they'll be zombie films. And so I made 2 short films, just me and some friends, absolutely no money. And I still had virtually no experience except the indie filmmaking experience I had with the first project.
When Chris made Deadscapes, those were original short films that he intended to be part of a series.
Which would have been kind of The Walking Dead-ish, but not a continuing story. Each episode would have been a short story, basically, in film format. Different situations in the undead world. I thought that was really fascinating. I've read a lot of zombie fiction, and I thought that'd be cool if these could be made into little kind of featurettes or short films. I only managed to make 2 of them, because after the second one, well, the first one had achieved a little bit of notoriety way after the fact because one of my friends who I put in it, he, a few years later, went on American Idol and he won. So that brought some attention back to it, even though it was a horrendous short zombie film. It was really bad, and I freely admit that. Had no idea what I was doing. I made both of these shorts in black and white, but you can see the difference between the first one, which is 2005, and then the next one, which is 2007, which, production value was increased, and I think the storytelling was a little bit better, but still, I had no experience.
Guys, okay? What the hell is going on here?
Something really bad is going on here.
I gotta call the police. Officials advise caution to anyone in these areas.
He produced 2 of those episodes, and I tried to be kind of helpful in those aspects. I did a voiceover on one of them, and then
I wouldn't advise buying it, even though I put it out there to be purchased. But somehow or another, if you do see it, you'll see what no training, but a lot of heart and a lot of passion can, make in the way of zombie films. So now fast forward. He and I have remained in touch and friends, and I even came here to work at LTTV for him. Beginning of 2011, around wintertime, Bill Allan tells me, we'll make a zombie movie this summer. Cool. So we had our first pre-production meeting, I believe, at the beginning of June. So now this is 6 months into since, Bill Allan's like, okay, we're gonna do this movie.
We are waiting for Bill Allan to come back and check and see if room 9 is okay so we can do our makeup stuff in there. Because today is makeup testing and whatnot. So people can get down and dirty in makeup to look like zombies.
I love whatnot. I love whatnot.
You're ruining everything. So, who is doing the test for this?
I thought you guys wanted to pop me.
So Chris, what's going on right now?
I'm getting zombified.
Today is day 1 of...
That'd be bad. Oh my god.
Okay. Just so we're all on the same page, you guys, everybody that comes to these meetings pretty much is in a principal role in the crew, right?
Yeah.
One of the big departments and something that we're doing today and Wednesday is makeup and effects. We're doing a zombie movie. There's a lot of makeup that has to get done and effects. And it has to be done very, very, very well. If it's not done consistently, it's going to be a detriment to the project. Even though Emily doesn't have any more experience doing zombie makeup than anybody else, Chris and I are putting her in charge of it. What I need is, I need people to be on her makeup crew. Here's the only thing I don't want. I don't want somebody who's going to show up on a shoot date and have never done anything with LTTV or has never done anything during pre-production. I don't need that.
So today is crucial because zombies are kind of going to be in this movie, and they have to look good,
And most zombie films you see that aren't professional, the zombies don't look that good. I'm not a makeup artist, but because of necessity, I've had to be the makeup artist on projects. I've had to do the effects. So I am not an expert. What I'm counting on is everyone taking the techniques that I know and taking your own creativity and being able to not only do it right, but do it consistently. We're not just going to have one zombie during the day. We're going to have 10, 20. There's going to be a lot. You have to be able to do it right and do it when we need it.
My thing is zombified.
Sounds good too. Oh yeah. Check those out.
One of our eyes can be not so awesome because we're going to do something.
Zombie pirate.
No, I'm just wondering, like, no, I have a question, Chris, but like, would it hurt my eyes if I open it when the appliances are?
My goal is that Stack and I are going to try, since we don't have to explain while we're doing it, we're going to try to catch up to Chris and Feller.
That's customizable, but I have one.
It's not like it's not round enough.
No, he didn't get burned. I think my idea is that he's been dead longer than Camille, so the flesh is getting darker, rotted, and bruised. Sam makes it almost all the way to LT. He's looking out of a window, and when he turns, a zombie bites his cheek.
Oh.
So we just finished day 1 of our first zombie makeup testing day. And I won't lie, I am a little bit worried. The outcome today wasn't bad, but it definitely wasn't at the level that we want to be starting out at. When it comes down to it, it took us a whole group of people, including myself and Allan, to kind of put together 2 zombies that didn't quite meet the standards that we set for ourselves. We need to pull it together and be able to have an entire team of people whip up some zombies and do it right. Or else we're in trouble, because this whole movie is kind of based on zombies.
Mom, I'm sorry. I told you I wouldn't get bit while you were gone. Oh well.
Trial and error.
Foundation first?
Most people don't do zombie makeup and learn from their mistakes. They just kind of throw stuff on someone, douse them in blood.
I want to go home.
We learned a lot from our first day, and I've been doing this for years, so I should know better. But we're going to try different testing.
You just put the balloon then underneath
you put the balloon underneath it. Now, the actor starts. First, you do a scene where they grab the arm and they go to bite, cut away, and when you cut back, we're going to have the balloon in there. The zombie's already going to have their teeth around it, and then all they have to do is they're holding it here and they go. You don't want to let it clump.
Right.
You want to smooth it out as soon as you put it on, or else that's what happens.
Right.
And then as soon as it started drying, I could tell you already tried to go over it, because then you get the peeling effect.
Yeah.
Damn, why do you have to be so muscular? But it looked off. So what I want to do is I want to get rid of all the signs that there's a square going around there.
Yeah.
So after I got a thin layer on there, then I'm going to go around the edges and use latex to kind of
Blend it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not quite sure if we've got that, but still. I think this is big enough for me, like.
A body condom. Roger, give me another body condom. Stat. Dan White got bitten by a zombie mosquito, which in turn created that. Dun dun dun. And then he crawled underneath a car in a garage to hide from the zombies, but that's where he died. So when he reanimated as a zombie under a car.
It's just blending better. It's not really getting bigger. It's gonna really suck to be the person that has to bite down on this.
Yeah. From here it looks real.
Good.
Maddie and Sam are just like, yeah, Phil, it'll be fun. You just come, just hang out, just some zombie movie.
Yeah, he needs that part. I can't do this movie.
There's where the bullet hole should have been.
I'm just imagining you saying, yeah, it tastes like condom.
Beginning of week 3 of pre-production.
This is good.
The further along we go in pre-production, the more my stomach slightly starts to tingle and then churn slightly because we get closer to production. So I guess what I'm saying, to paraphrase, is there's a lot to do.
And so little.
And in the next few weeks, it's going to get even more intense. So communication is the key.
Hello. How you doing?
Okay. Let's roll. Let's do this.
Hi, Chris.
It's so muggy.
This is part of what you need to do. The other thing is Chris gave us homework. How many people actually read through the script to see if there was anything that he missed? It's good to be honest, because I didn't either. I didn't have time.
I have an announcement to make for people on the makeup department. I don't know if anybody here is in makeup, but Chris really thought it was important that we actually time how long it takes us to make how many zombies in a meeting. Today, I think it's more important that we work on actually making the distinction between fresh and like dead for a long time. Every meeting from now on is going to be fast-paced. We're going to have as many hands as we can to actually apply the makeup and get as many zombies done as we can.
Alright, I'm done with my face. Who's done?
Oh my god.
Almost stressing me out.
Okay, so Dan, you have to blend. You have way so much on there now. Let's refresh our memories. Who's learning how to make zombies? Okay, so take a couple minutes before we start. Let's reacquaint ourselves with the basic tools. Like, what are we gonna need? Open that up.
Ooh.
I got into a fight.
Ooh.
He's gonna be under a bandage.
Record stuff?
Yeah, this is part of the movie too.
Sorry. He picks up some papers on the table next to the food tray and looks at them astonished.
Did you make these? These are gorgeous.
Come on, Chris, pull it together.
Oh my god.
You have one thing to do.
You're doing your job.
They won't eat my money.
Hi.
Hello.
This is gonna be really easy for us.
This was okay. I went to the script and found little things that I think we may not have gotten, or things that we
Write them down.
Yeah.
Before we read through the script, are there any questions? Her face turns soft and affectionate.
For me?
Yep. You're on with me and I'll kill all your problems.
That's really sweet. But newsflash, Teddy. You didn't kill my problems, you just called more of them.
Okay, so what's up Monday?
Monday will be, we'll go into 2 teams. FX does their thing.
Unit 3 or
Unit 3, yeah.
Roger's punishment.
It's supposed to be him flipping you off, but I mean, I can always cover that with late time.
Wunderbar.
Yeah. Go and take this, like, the silver stuff goes on solid, and then like, with one coat, and then
This is our prop mat.
Don't hit it.
It's foam covered, but it's hardcore underneath.
allowed to touch it today. Why would you? No, stop touching it. I'm not allowed to touch it.
I don't like Jello.
That's a little bit.
I know, but I don't make Jello if I don't like it.
Pharmacy.
Oh my god.
Kind of, you're lifting it like a stew.
That's perfect.
How does it smell?
Best as I can. This must be nasty looking.
No, it will be.
Darn it. Why do you always mess something up?
Oh, that looks so gross when it moves.
It's like somebody sliced your neck and it's like, oh, I mean, like,
I see something. I must record it.
Hey, I need the paroles, the brole.
Roll.
Okay. And then you're going to push her away.
Well, let's wait until
okay, we're going to cut. Then we're going to do an angle of you raising your gun. Okay, so quiet on the set. You hear quiet on the set, everyone shuts up.
Like a bruised blueberry.
Okay, I'm good. Speed. Sound. Speed. Slate.
Speed test. Shot too.
God, I hope there are no zombies here. Oh my god! Bitch!
I'm waiting for confirmation from the school.
So for the past almost 2 months now, everyone's been learning and practicing and gearing up for what we're going to start on Saturday. So despite how worried everyone might be or kind of anxious, we have to remember it's also going to be a lot of fun. And all your hard work is going to pay off. You look at the little clip we shot the other day, it was like, when that worked, when that effect worked, and we got it, and we got the shot, everything else before that almost didn't really matter. The fact that it either blew a take or it took a while to get it set up, and that's where kind of the rewards come in. You put in all this hard work and it seems like you're not getting anything out of it. But when the finished product is there and you can look at it and go, we did that and it worked and everything went according to plan, then that makes any kind of trouble you went through worth it. Good morning. Welcome to day number 1 of WZOM. It's Woo! 7 in the morning. I've been here for a while and we're waiting on everybody else now. So
go in there and you'll be like, oh, yeah, there. Holy crap. Here, we need. I'm really confused. Oh, there you go. There you go. You have a 10. Okay.
Very subtle. Did you put batteries in the Zoom? No. Okay, batteries need to go in the Zoom. Batteries need to go on the road.
We should just have a giant vat of zombies that everyone takes a photo.
It's a sorry affair here at Zombie Headquarters. Oh god. How many zombies do we have?
3. Only 3 when we should have had 8 for today, which still it wouldn't have been enough, but it's better than, oh no, Chris has come to check. He's going to be heartbroken.
What are you going to do there? I am going to make her hang by the neck.
How's it feel to be a zombie?
Feels right.
I've been a zombie all my life.
How's it feel to be a zombie?
Wonderful.
Awesome. Like every time I put alt, that means alternate. That means we're gonna do a few angles.
Okay. Roll sound.
Speed.
Roll camera.
Speed.
Slate.
Scene 002-1, take 6.
I'm Camille. It's a beautiful day at LT. La la la, I'm gonna go to the girls' bathroom. La la la, no harm can come of this. Oh God! Ah!
Cousins! There are cousins.
Sticky. Oh man! Hell yeah!
And just stare straight ahead. Make sure your eyes are wide.
That's really scary.
Quiet on the set!
Number 1 thing is safety. Action!
Yeah, I'll hit you going towards the wall.
I wanna go
home now.
That was a good catch, good recovery. Okay. Let's do one as a safety take. You okay?
Oh yeah.
You got one more in you?
Yeah.
Okay.
They finally started putting makeup on. I just got out of bed.
Action, Brittany. As a zombie, very slow moving, you're noshing at it and your eyes are wide open. You're not making any noise, okay? And you're
Oh my god.
Now, I'm not walking around like this all the time. You hear that? Do it again.
Cut.
Ew.
Back to one. Showing your foreground here.
Who's my other
you're
lead
gonna
zombie to my foreground?
basically pay attention to where the camera is. Yay!
Oh yeah.
Why would
Studio. Yep.
Right there? Okay.
Well, we have.
Can I have one assistant?
Yeah. But
I would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for these meddling
I want a Scooby snack.
oh hey, I found the white rag.
We're almost done.
Alright.
Make yourselves comfortable.
Deep breath.
Hold on a second. I gotta get my composure.
Drawing. The drawings with blood on them.
Yeah, that's from downstairs.
I know.
That's like a blank gun where it shoots blanks.
Should we go get those guts?
Yeah. That's what I wanted to do, but I knew that I wasn't sure about the sound thing.
Right. Action. Action, Lucas.
You little stench bag, I swear to Christ, I'll knock your f***ing head off!
Cut. Bang.
It's okay, we're not gonna kill you. Let him close his eyes if it's not working.
Close slowly.
Close, there we go.
Hey, and she goes,
Hey, asshole.
you might think I make this look easy, but trust me, it's one of the hardest jobs in the world.
Have you been checking these off?
I have been, but then I stopped. And then, but I know which ones we did though.
No, muy bien.
Look, I'm pretty sure I know which ones we did.
I just don't want to go through that and go.
Does it work?
Oh,
Yeah.
we forgot to shoot that.
Well,
that's exactly how I would say it, too.
well, my original one.
I'd be editing. I'd be like, we're doing this. And I'd be,
Oh,
oh,
snap.
snap. I forgot to shoot that.
No, so they can fix me up.
We got Nate.
Oh.
Look ahead.
I'm not touching.
I don't want
All right, we're good. Let's roll.
Okay.
I got my arm chopped off.
First of all, anyone with contacts gets in front of people without contacts. All right. You don't necessarily have to, bow your head down, but your eyes have to be always down, so I should only see your dark lids. Anyone with contacts, the exact opposite. I want your head up. I want your eyes wide open. I want your mouth open.
Yeah, chew down a few
You like my cake?
Be ready.
Oh, hey.
Yeah.
Oh, that's scary.
He's got the shovel spade holding the zombie up at his chest, but then he moves it up a little bit to his neck and starts pushing. But that does look kind of right. I need
coming out.
tape.
What noise is this? Hey, little shovel name, Bobby.
2, 1, action. Action.
Last day of filming.
Tim. And she's gonna kill you with her baseball bat.
These guts are delicious.
No!
I would just yell out last calls to go to location and then walk over there. Oh my god, I have no hair!
Angus is with the other zombies.
For once, they're not waiting on Breana.
Pick now.
Hey Aaron. Yes, you.
Ours.
Waiting for car. Okay, doing good everybody. We're gonna do this one more time from this camera position.
Why are you talking, Roger?
How close are we, Andy?
This as I'm Dani.
Yeah.
What was that about?
I don't know.
All right, start around the corner.
Hey, Chris. Little continuity thing. This isn't the same roof as the one we were shooting at before.
This is where we all go insane. Those little black spots there, they're like zits. You step on them and there's these little pustules and they pop and stuff comes
What
out.
the hell, Chris?
I am seeing things. I swear to
What the
God.
hell, Chris?
I think that he got to you.
This is a long elevator. Yeah.
Long elevator.
Don't stop rolling.
Is that a banana in your pocket, dude?
Yes, it is. I hate this cut.
I believe that is a wrap, folks.
I believe I can fly.
Wow. No, maybe not that.
Who's clapping?
Sean, the human audio octopus.
Why am I the only one clapping?
I can't clap. I have a camera.
We're too tired for this clap.
We did it. We did it. Ooh, yeah.
Okay, guys, you know what it's time for? Clean up.
The biggest challenge of WZOM, I think, was the same as any other independent project. You don't have a lot of money. You don't have a whole lot of resources. Everyone is doing their part because they want to. And it was the most challenging when we've been here on set since 6 or 7 a.m. Everyone's tired and everyone's sweaty and covered in blood and they don't want to do this anymore. Or if it's midnight and we've still got tons of stuff to shoot. Keeping everyone motivated has been something that I've learned is crucial as a leader of a project. Not just movies. Anytime you're, if you're on a team, whatever situation it may be, keeping your team motivated is a huge challenge. And so probably my least favorite moment was when it's in the morning on that last day. It was our biggest shoot day because we had the most amount of zombies. And the most pressure was on everybody, every department. Makeup had to deal with scores of zombies to do and had to have them ready for these big shots. And the production team had a lot to deal with because we not only had to plan around that, but this is the last day we're shooting and the only time we can have our two particular lead actors, which were Dani and Lucas, this was the only time we could have them on set, at the same time on a weekend because of their schedules. And so a lot was riding on this day. We're not planning on doing any kind of reshoots or anything like that, so it had to get done.
And everyone was dreading this day, and we knew we have a lot of things to do this day, and we don't have a whole lot of time. So we started off on the 4th floor We were in the radio station, we were outside, we were just everywhere. And we were running back and forth to all these different locations to get, oh, we forgot this, we gotta go back here. All over the school, all over, everywhere. And it was really, really hectic. And as soon as things like that start to get disorganized, everything just kind of falls down the drain.
When there's the parking lot scene where all these zombies come out and they're just prowling around by abandoned cars, it was chaotic putting all those zombies together. We had 40-some zombies at the time, and it was just, we had to put together all of them and within like 2 hours. And it got stressful, it got tiring.
Having to do a lot of people at once, it can be really stressful, but again, overcoming it is a great feeling. So.
And everything had been going according to plan. Zombies are getting ready. We'll be shooting them in a half an hour, and we have to finish shooting on the 4th floor. And we're just waiting for Lucas, and he's running a little bit late, that's fine. So we're setting up with Dani. It was that moment I was thinking, okay, he's running a little bit late. He's going to show up, and we're just going to start shooting. So he won't get much time to set up. But suddenly, Maddie Stack is on the phone talking to him, and the look on her face when he gives a response was probably the worst moment, because I didn't even need to hear where Lucas was or what he was doing. I just knew it was really bad. So I saw the look on her face, and she gave me the phone. We found out that Lucas was driving back from Michigan. And we were thinking, oh yeah, he's gonna be like 20 minutes late. But yeah, he's a little bit further than 20 minutes. It's the biggest shoot day. Now what are we gonna do?
Having one of our actors show up late kind of threw everything off, so it caused some problems. But in the end, we overcame it, but you could clearly see that everyone was very irritated that day.
We dealt with it, we thought fast, and we made it work.
One of the other challenges was, this is a bit of a weird one, heat.
I hated that. It was humid. That's the thing. That was the killer thing about it. It was humid, and sometimes if we didn't have enough zombies through the days, we would have to put ourselves in zombie makeup, and it would be humid outside, and it kind of gave us the opportunity to see what the zombies were going through at the time.
For makeup, it was really hard because we had to work in the bathrooms, and it was really hot and it's kind of smelly. And
since I was at zombie holding, there was a room next to it. There was air conditioning on the weekend, but come like Monday, and there's no, like, they turn off the air conditioning or something. It was really aggravating. Because I used to go in there and like cool off, and yeah. We were filming in the summer. We were filming in places, some of the hottest places in the school, the boiler room, the very top levels of the school. Yeah, so it got really, really hot. And I have found, in my experience, the heat affects a crew more than food. On the very last day, the second to last shot, we're on a roof, the roof of the school. And this roof has gravel put down, and the sun has been beating on it all day. So this gravel is really, 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 really hot. And the shot is not, I think it was like a 4-minute shot of them walking from like behind some radio tower stuff, and then coming up here and then talking. I, for the entire shot, was laying on the ground. I was laying on this like hugely hot gravel that was like burning me instantly. I'm also 200 feet off the ground and a foot off the edge of a roof. But as I'm like laying down here, and the heat is just working its way through, and like I'm on the ground like this with the camera, and they're walking through. I'm sweating, I'm tearing up. I'm just like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, please hurry up. As soon as Cuddy's yells, boom, I'm up off the ground. It was an adventure.
So there were some days in some locations where Chris planned very conservatively, and we got everything done in an orderly fashion, just the way it should be done. Boom, done, clean. There were some other days where we had planned in the same fashion in a more conservative sense, but the locations presented challenges, okay? So one of the days was, I think it was the second day, we were shooting a boiler room kind of area underneath the pool. It presented challenges for lighting, it presented challenges for, moving the camera because there were some tight spaces. It was an ideal location, but it ended up taking a lot longer to set things up than they thought, and a lot longer to shoot the scenes than they thought it was going to take. And in turn, we had some people who had been waiting around all day in zombie makeup getting very impatient, which is understandable.
Because we'd have them show up at 7, they'd get ready, that takes about 2 hours. So at 9 o'clock, we're shooting the main roles scenes. So like Dani and Lucas and my dad were shooting their scenes while the zombies were waiting to be called onto set. And a lot of the times the scenes would run long or people were late and the zombies ended up having to wait a super long time. And that was probably the biggest challenge because I felt really bad that they had to sit and wait in the heat, in the boiler room or in the girls' bathroom, and they didn't have much to do. It's kind of boring. So it threw off some things and the schedule got a little shaky sometimes, but for the most part I think that we all pulled together really well, and our LTTV family did really good together, fixing everything and getting back on track.
So those were probably the biggest challenges when the locations and the technical components created challenges that were simply difficult to meet.
Oh, one of the biggest challenges of the production was time. You know, there's only so much time in a day, and if things are running late or if someone messes up, then you have to use more time. And, you know, like I said, we don't have all the time in the world, but we have some, yeah.
Because there were a whole bunch of times when there were concerns people weren't in the right places at the right times. There were actors who didn't make it at their correct times. I know that on the first day of shooting, I was there a few hours late because I slept in.
Running out of time towards the end and staying late at night when everyone wanted to go home.
And then we were really concerned before shooting started that we weren't going to be able to get zombies in makeup fast enough.
The first few days, the pace was fine, similar to a actual movie. But as the days progressed toward the end, more and more things had to start happening until the last day was basically just hectic, scrambling to get places, gotta do this, gotta go now, which is really difficult to shoot in for everyone involved.
With the amount of zombies that we had, I think there was enough, but there could have been more to make an even bigger impact.
I was very worried because we were literally days before the first shoot day, we were missing whole swaths of zombies, lead and background zombies. Like, we just did not have enough people. And it took a lot of work. Like, that's where I really stepped up my game as a producer. I was making calls to everybody that I knew to bring people in.
There were people who were like, oh, you know, I'd love to be a zombie. That'd be awesome. But then they wouldn't show up, and we'd be short, and then we'd have to have crew be zombies.
People have jobs, or people say, yeah, I could totally get my friend to do it, and they just don't show up. So it's a lack of commitment.
I mean, it would have been better if we had more, but we still had enough to make it work.
What you sacrifice is obviously the luxury of being able to shoot more, and in this case, we had to leave out a few not crucial scenes, but scenes that were written in that should have been shot and should have been in there. Hopefully it'll still cut together properly without them, but we had to omit some zombie stuff, just some things that help the story flow a little bit better.
To me, the challenges that we faced were pretty basic. I mean, I've been on hundreds of shoots, film shoots and TV shoots, and so I've seen bigger challenges by far. Like, I've seen $1 million budgets for commercials get blown in by wasting hours of time trying to do something for a setup that a director tried to do and it ended up not working, you know. So I've seen, by relative scale, I've seen much bigger stuff. But I think for what we were trying to do, considering the fact that most of the crew, it was their first film production, for some of the cast, it was their first film production. Certainly not for the leads, but you know, for more like the lead and background zombies, it might have been their first film productions. So kind of in that sense where we had the majority of people involved in the cast and crew being kind of newbies, I think some of the challenges that we had might have been overcome a little easier had they had a little more experience. So to me, it was acceptable. It was an acceptable trade-off.
Out of the 4 zombie projects now that I've done, including this one was definitely my favorite. Well, first off, because At the point I'm doing it, I've got a little bit more experience and a little bit more, I guess, maturity. And it actually was finished.
WZOM kind of has a special place in my heart too, because, you know, Chris Velasquez has been, he often says that we have like a mentor-student relationship. You know, I'm a few years older than he is, and I've always been happy to help him out with stuff. And this was really kind of a, you know, a farewell hurrah in terms of our projects. I hope we work together again in the future, but I also hope that he becomes fantastically successful out in LA, and, you know, and I think this was certainly an awesome project to be able to work on together. And I think it'll kind of live on in the legend of LTTV, you know. I hope it'll be kind of something that everybody looks back on and says, this was a really cool thing that we did.
Best moment ever when Roger's dad came in. And everyone just stopped and freaked out. Everyone just was silent when Roger's dad came in because nobody knew who he was at first. And then he's like yelling at us and we're like, oh my God. And then the best part is when he leaves and then 30 seconds later Lucas walks in and everyone goes silent again. That was probably the best part.
We had a lot of difficulties putting Mihaw's contacts into his eyes.
Emily Feller has a fetish for eye contacts.
Mihao is the zombie who attacks Marty in the hallway, and he's the one who's decapitated. So it took us about an hour to put Mihaw's contacts in his eyes. He couldn't keep them open, so we had about 5 people holding just his eye open so he could get the contact in. And for some reason, his one contact wouldn't stay in his eye. It kept shifting around and like going into his eyelid and everything. So we had to figure out a solution. We put the contact in his eye about 5 times, and we found out he just has a weird eye shape. So it had nothing to do with the contact. We were putting it in his eye for like an hour, and we didn't know that it was just the weird eye shape.
It was fun being dead, the dead wife. That was like a split-second decision. One of the actresses couldn't do it, so I was laying on a table, drenched in blood, with my arm off. That was fun though. It smelled. I can't have chocolate syrup on ice cream anymore because it smells too much like the blood we used. But.
Favorite moment, I really liked doing makeup, but I also liked when we got to do the background zombies. And it was like me, Emily, Camille, Christian, and I think that was it. And we were on the tracks and they were shooting the outside part, and
like at one point, Mr. Allan told a few kids to get on the train tracks, but that a train was coming and they were like dumbstruck. What do we do? A train's coming. And then eventually they figured out to get off the tracks.
We all did like the Thriller dance, and it was really funny.
All right, this one's for the documentary, for the behind the scenes. We're gonna do the Thriller dance. If you don't know it, look at everybody else who does. Ready?
Let's go like this.
When I say action, you're gonna do the Thriller dance. You're gonna go to your left like this.
Ah!
Bill, we're set to shoot.
Okay, here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. 'Cause it's a thriller. Thriller. You're fighting for your life. You know it's thriller. You're fighting for your life. Thriller. Tonight. Yeah, flat spot. All right, thank you. Good.
It was a scene where the zombies are tearing apart the barricades we made, and we were trying to find a way to get one of the pieces of wood to like break, but it's hard because we would break them beforehand, and on one side it'd be completely broken, and on the other side it had to look like it was still intact. So that was hard to do. But then not only it wasn't breaking, right? Like they would like reach in and grab it and pull it, but nothing happened. So then we got Chris Velasquez on a chair holding the top end, and then someone was holding the bottom, and then when they pulled on it, we would both pull in like opposite directions for it to come apart, right? But as we're filming, Chris pulls on it, and after it breaks, it just kind of leaves the shot.
The magical flying 2x4.
And you're just wondering, like, oh, like it's a floating piece of wood. That's totally normal.
I would definitely do this again. It's enhanced my learning experience, so I feel more comfortable going into my career.
I would definitely do something like this again. It was a blast.
I'd do it again just because I think it's very entertaining to throw fake blood and onto people.
If I had the chance to do it all again, I wouldn't because I hate all of you. No, just kidding. I'd love to come do it again, and I think I'll stay in touch and come back next summer.
I would love to be able to have a summer movie project for TV Club every summer. And I certainly think it's worth, the students raising money during the year to have a budget to work with. We learned from this experience that it costs money. Even if you own a lot of the equipment, it still costs money. All of the makeup, all the production supplies, the food. When you're on a film set, you have to feed your cast and crew, especially if they're there for 12 hours. So all of that costs money. But I think it's a worthwhile experience.
What's even more important is the fact that they probably learned a lot from the experience.
I learned a lot. I learned that you have to be so organized when you're making a film, and we were super organized, and there were still times where things were just crazy, and I learned you have to get through it, and at the end, even if you hated it, you'll probably enjoy the work you did. For high school students and working with experienced people, that I think we did really well, and we pulled together when we had to. And
I learned so much. I learned the filmmaking process, how to make someone a zombie, how to make someone look like half their face is gone. Just so much. Just the whole filmmaking experience was just a great learning experience overall.
I learned all about how movies are made, loads of stuff that you don't see just by watching little behind the scenes clips. Actually being involved in it is really informative. You learn a whole lot from that.
I learned how to build a barricade. Yeah. Which is good, because if zombies ever do roam the lands, I'll be ready.
I hope that it actually turns out really, 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 really good, and that when it's actually shown to a bunch of people, I'm hoping that it'll get positive reviews and it's not just dismissed as some lame zombie movie.
More than anything else, I hope this project takes off.
What my hopes are is that it turns out really well. I know Chris is going to do an amazing job editing. He was a really good director, so I feel like it's going to turn out really well.
That it just turns out to be so insanely awesome that so many people discover it and so many people like it, and they're like, this is awesome, this is a great story, there was a great director, and it was made by kids, what? And then everyone would be like, kids, yeah, woo! And then teenagers, not children, but you know what I mean.
That it turns out to be just an amazing short film.
I'm expecting it's going to be really outstanding as a finished movie. I'm hoping that a lot of people watch it. I'm hoping it becomes something popular.
I've given up the whole popularity thing with projects and films. I've been in a lot of creative projects, whether it's in a band or doing movies, and that's like an added bonus. If that happens, great. But if you're having fun, no matter what you're doing, then that really shouldn't matter. So as much as I have hoped for it to get popular, if it doesn't, it's not going to change how I feel about it because I still value it in terms of what I came away with from doing it.
I hope that the finished product is good enough that everyone involved feels proud of it, feels glad that they were involved in it, and I hope that it is something that they can put on the resume or show around and say, I worked on this, and people can go, wow, you worked on that? And they go, yeah, I worked on that. And then it gets them like a job somewhere nice, and then they can proceed through the career, and then they can find a nice companion and get married and settle down and have some kids, and eventually they can retire from their hard life of film working. And as they settle down and age into their 90s, they can look back and realize that WZOM was the thing that started it all for them.
For me as the teacher, to go through this process and see my students kind of step up and do this was an amazingly rewarding experience. It's a lot of responsibility, but something that I've always tried to do for all my students from the minute that they're engaged in the club or in the class or both is to give them authentic experiences, because the best way for them to learn is to do. So we do a lot of TV production. We have a studio, we have a truck, they're constantly making short projects for class. But to be able to do a filmmaking style workflow and to be on a film set and actually get to see how that works and how different it is from TV, I think is equally as important. And it's one of my big goals, is to have that authentic hands-on experience for the students. Was it perfect? No. But I think that everybody put in the effort and showed that they were willing to make this the best possible production that they could do. And that's what impressed me. That's what made me proud as a teacher looking at what they did, is that they put in some pretty long hours. They worked hard to make it come together. And, to see it through, when I see that on the big screen, I think, that's impressive. For a first try, I would be pretty proud to show this to other educators, to have a festival and say, this was made by my students. This was their first big scale film production.
So I think that everyone who stepped up and took a role, whether it was for the entire production or one day on set, I'm completely grateful and appreciative of what they did. Regardless of whether or not it worked out the way they wanted or the way I wanted, they tried, and that to me is what's important. The entire LTTV family really jumped in on this, and they made it worth all the trouble that we went to, because everyone pulled together and we made a movie.